Yeah, I'll go Wednesday. I think it's going to be wild. I mean, I just I don't know what Ryan Garcia is going to get up to next week. Expect anything, but also expect a Devin Haney victory in style.
Not sure. Obviously, we've seen a lot of madness from Garcia, and it'd be interesting to see what a state of mind is like going into the fight. Um, yeah, I have Haney as the favourite. Quality fighter. Really, really impressed me over his last number of fights. Um, Garcia is very fast hands, nice boxer. Um, but I don't know. Uh, I mean, just some of the stuff that's going on in the background, the things that Garcia says, I don't know where he's at mentally. And I think for him to beat someone like Devin Haney, everything needs to be perfect. And I'm not sure it is for him at the minute.
Yeah, I think Haney's shown his mettle. I mean, I did think he got beat by Loma, but he still performed well. It's not a disgrace if he did obviously got decision, but if he were to lose to Loma or and have a tight fight with Loma, and that version of him as well seemed like a much better Loma. But yeah, I think Haney's definitely the favourite in that fight. I don't think Garcia's really touched up from what I've seen on the stuff he needs to work on. I feel like the best version of him we've seen was against Luke Campbell. I thought he was really good that night. Showed a lot of grit and stuff, but I don't know, maybe stuff's gone to his head in a way, or yeah, he just doesn't seem like he's really touching up, and there's a few mistakes that seem, like they're still there.
You know, if both fighters are 100% mentally and physically right, then I think it's a good fight. One, what I think Haney does win, but, like you say, we're seeing a fight off social media at the minute, so it's hard to judge it.
I understand why Haney is the favorite. He should be the favorite. I think even Ryan Garcia is no dummy. He's a knowledgeable person about the perspective on him and his career. He understands there's a reason why Devin would be the favorite, I believe. Devin's the champion. Devin looked fantastic in his last fight. He shut out Regis Prograis, who was a long-time top guy in the weight class and had been a champion twice. And now the only loss he had before that was a fight that probably could have gone either way against Taylor. So he's looked good, and he looked good in his other fights at lightweight. He defeated easily Kambosos. Yes, it was a close fight against Lomachenko. He got the win. That was sort of a mixed bag in terms of the opinions of people. But the point is, he's a brilliant boxer, and Ryan Garcia, although he looked pretty good against Oscar Duarte and getting the knockout in his most recent fight, Oscar Duarte is a good fighter, but not an elite fighter in that weight class. And prior to that, of course, we all know what happened against Gervonta Tank Davis. So, it's kind of like, boxing, Andy. It's kind of like, what have you done for me lately? So people view it as Haney is the master boxer, maybe not with the best power, but he can definitely out-hustle you, out-punch you, and has great defense and good slick movement. But Ryan Garcia, yes, understandably the underdog, but if you're making the case for him, I think he matches Haney for hand speed and speed in general. He has much better power, I think, than Devin Haney. He's got an electrifying left hook if he can land it. And, we'll have to see what happens. But I suspect this is a big time fight. And don't forget also, it's not your normal kind of big fight. Now, I don't usually make a lot when it comes to like what their backgrounds are as amateur boxers. Yes, I mean, it plays into storylines, and they certainly have a familiarity if they've boxed before in the amateurs. These guys have more. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't ever remember a big fight that I was getting ready to write about or cover where the two combatants had this much amateur history. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll give you an example. I covered Shane Mosley, Vernon Forrest years ago. There was a huge storyline that Vernon had beaten Shane in the amateurs in an upset and kept Shane Mosley off the 1992 United States Olympic team. That's like a big deal going to that fight. And then he beat him again in the pros to win the welterweight title, and then he beat him again in the rematch. So it's sort of like that was a huge storyline. And there's other examples of guys in the amateurs who then go and meet in big time pro fights. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia have boxed 6 times as amateurs. That's a lot compared to your normal major fight that materializes in the pro ranks. And they're 3-3 against each other, which is why they're calling this fight. I don't know if it's official, but they've been saying like this one counts. In other words, this is the real deal for the major world championship, and obviously, top dog status in that weight class. So there's a lot of history between these guys. They know each other well in that respect. And I suspect that that's going to bring a lot to the promotion. And I think Haney understands and Ryan understands. Like, it's one thing for Ryan to lose to Tank Davis in his first really big fight. You lose a second big time fight, you're going to get labeled a loser and the B side and just a guy that's good enough to be in the fight, but they can't get over the hump. At some point, you got to win the big fight. Haney, he's won big fights before. It's important for him to maintain the title and all that, but I think Ryan's going to feel like, you know what, my back's a little bit against the wall in this one.
Is it all mind games? Is he doing this on purpose? You don't know. I've also seen clips of him training his nuts off, so I think it's probably a bit of a ploy. I may be wrong, but we will find out. It's a brilliant fight, old amateur rivals now fighting again in the pros. It's a mouth-watering clash. It really is. I favour Haney in the fight. I think Haney is so hard to beat. He has an experienced defeat, whereas Garcia has. So I have him a favourite there. I'll definitely be tuning in.
Ryan Garcia is a confident kid. Devin Haney is a super confident kid, The difference is his abilities. I just think that Devin Haney's ability and the weaknesses in this stylistically in Ryan Garcia, I think it makes for a really good. I think it's a perfect fight. Bill Haney is such a clever man, right? People don't like to give him credit. He's just a dad living through his, living through his son and all that sort of shit. No, he's a dad that seems to be getting the best out of his son and guiding his son the right sort of way. But he's the one with the personality. He's the one that's not afraid to offend people, insult people, cause a commotion, because everybody's talking about his son and himself. But I think to pick Ryan Garcia at this stage, coming off a really good performance, a brilliant performance against Regis Prograis, but really is a bit of a trade fight. I know it did good numbers and everything, but really, in the bigger stratosphere, it's a bit of a trade fight. To go for Ryan Garcia, who's got the social media presence and where everybody's heard of Ryan Garcia, whether you rate him or not, everybody knows of Ryan Garcia, got an opinion on Ryan Garcia. So in terms of profile, it's a perfect fight for him. Because if now he goes and puts on a dazzling performance against Ryan Garcia, it explodes. It explodes the Devin Haney name. So, and that's what we need. We need superstars, and superstars need fights where their profile is going to be catapulted to the next level than what they're on now.
Haney. I can't see anything but a Haney win. I know Ryan's spoken about Haney's lack of power, but Haney right now is just almost coming into his own. He's on such a good run as well. I didn't think he won against Loma, but regardless, it was a close fight and he got the W. And then you go Regis Prograis, then you go Ryan Garcia. That's a solid run. And I don't know where Ryan is mentally, so I'm not quite sure where he is. I don't know if he knows where he is. So I've got to go Devin Haney, and hopefully we get Devin Haney versus Teofimo. That's the dream.
Yeah, I think they're two good fighters. Garcia's got the hand speed, not the best of the boxing IQ, but fast. He's got good timing with that left hook, and he's quick. But I just think Devin Haney's got the better boxing skills and kind of complete. He can sort of move and defend and go on the offense as well, and he's very clever. His vision is great. His field of vision is great. He can read your opponent very well. He's very good at reading your opponent and reading the fight. So I'm going to go with Devin Haney on this one.
I think Haney. I think he's more on it. I think Garcia is a bit all over the place. Where I think Haney to me looks like a guy who's a lot more got it together. He's focused outside the ring. As well, and that does matter. I know. I got one prediction wildly wrong about a while ago when I thought that Josh Taylor was going to beat Teofimo Lopez, and I based it because during the fight week he looked like he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, mental breakdown. Lopez, his life was falling apart outside the ring. But some fighters can compartmentalise, and that can be happening, but they're able to get it together and put it to the side and focus and perform. Not everyone can do that. Can Ryan Garcia do that? Don't know. But Haney, to me, I think he's equally as good, if not better anyway, and he's the one who just seems to be more focused.
I think, obviously, it's a fantastic fight. Great for boxing. Good to see that they're getting it on, actually. I think with Devon's higher level of opponents and the recent move up in weight, obviously I favour him for his boxing skills. He can stay disciplined. But Ryan is probably a little bit faster than Devin, and has obviously got the size as well. whereas Prograde didn't quite have that size and speed to really trouble Devin. But Ryan has got that, so it's going to be interesting. And obviously Ryan can punch, so if he can catch Devin, timing well, again a good fight. Slightly favour Devin to win on points for that. But you know, be surprised if Ryan comes out flying out at blocks and you know can force a stoppage.
I think it'll be a fascinating contest. I don't think it's going to be a contest that we'll remember for years to come in terms of the content. We might remember the event, but I think Devin Haney, in being clever, in virtually making it boring, will have enough on that night.
Can't see anything other than a Haney win. Haney looking really well. And listen, to be honest with you, it's not that I don't rate Ryan Garcia. He's obviously talented, but realistically, the way he's been spoken about and the things that have been said about him, or the expectations that people had of him, were always unrealistic. At the end of the day, he's got so many fundamental faults and flaws in his boxing ability that someone like Haney will absolutely pick holes in him, in my opinion. So, Haney and probably a stoppage, probably a knockout.
No, I mean, I think I always favoured Haney anyway, just because he doesn't really do much wrong. Like, he doesn't really blow the world of light, but he's always in control and he's always finding the sharp, accurate, punishing shots, and he doesn't really ever seem to get out of his engine, and he doesn't really seem to be putting steps wrong in fights. So, I don't know. I think, yeah, he's as good as you're going to get right now out there, pound for pound, especially, and take away someone just having raw power and being able to be too much strong or too powerful for another fighter. He's arguably one of the best pure boxers. Ryan Garcia, they've got a lot of history. They've shared the ring a lot of times. Obviously, that was a long time ago. Who's got the better career right now? You'd probably say Haney, but Ryan Garcia's had a good one too. Showed very dangerous, got heavy hands. But, yeah, there's big question marks about where his head is right now. But who knows? Sometimes a monster's created from adversity rather than, you know, life being good. So if he gets in the ring, it might be the most dangerous Ryan Garcia we've seen yet. Because at the end of the day, you're only your mentality. Yeah. I've seen crackheads walk through whole panes of glass, straight through, not even affected, barely have a scratch on them. You know what I mean? Do things that when your mind's somewhere else, your body can do things way past. So who knows? He might be coming with some innate self-belief right now that he's been blessed by God to win this fight, and that's probably like an actual 100% centered belief around that would probably make a man quite dangerous. You'd think.